it's time to introduce the founder of Car Collection Advisors. Some say his blood is synthetic motor oil. For others, they say he starts his day off with a shot of high-octane racing fuel. Now, without further ado, start your engines and let's take it from here in second gear and welcome Racer X.
Welcome back, petrol heads. I know it's been some time since we posted a video, but we're back, and now that finally we have some subscribers and people are looking at the channel, gives us more incentive to post more videos. So the more subscribers and views we get, it shows us that you like what we have to offer here at this channel. So we're back, and today what we're going to do is talk about Ferrari versus McLaren, and we're going to do some runs in the SF90, and we're going to do some runs in the McLaren P1. We've set up a microphone near the exhaust. We're going to let you hear both exhausts and decide yourself which one you think sounds best. I personally think the P1 sounds much better than the SF90. You have the cold air intake. You have the big turbos you can hear vividly, and wastegates. And when you release the throttle, you hear those wastegates go off, and that's just a beautiful sound. And so this car has a very exciting sound. The SF90 sounds nice. It's fairly muted and quiet, and I don't hear any wastegates. I don't believe there are any. If there are, you can't hear them. And it is a very fast car, but it's more of a smoother sound, and to be honest, a little less exciting. Extremely fast. Both cars have very, very similar or close specs and performance. We'll go over some of those right now. So let's start with the P1. So the P1 is a 3.8 liter twin turbo that puts out a combined 903 horsepower and 664 pound-feet of torque with its hybrid. And the SF90 has 986 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. So this has torque beat by 75 pounds. That has horsepower beat by 93 horsepower. This car weighs a lot less. This is around 3450, and that is the lightest iteration of the SF90, weighing in at about 3,800 pounds. And what makes that lightest is the Assetto Fiorano package, which includes titanium springs. The car has more carbon fiber, and this one is equipped with the additional carbon fiber wheels, which save 36 pounds. So you save approximately 70 pounds on the Assetto and 36 on the wheels. So you're saving over 100 pounds. This car has an aluminum tub. This car has a carbon fiber tub. Now, the carbon fiber tub is just much better. That's all there is to it. And if you'll see the 765 LT that's next to the P1, one of the benefits to the cars having carbon fiber tubs as opposed to aluminum is this Spider weighs almost identical to an LT coupe. There's no reinforcement required. Whereas SF90, this is a coupe. This is the lightest version. The Spider weighs 220 pounds more than just the non-Assetto coupe. So then you take the other 100 off, you're talking 320 pounds heavier for a non-Assetto Spider versus this. This is the car to get. And if you'll look, there's a ton of ground clearance. The Assettos with the titanium Multimatic suspension does not come with a lift. It doesn't need one. I go in and out of driveways. I don't scrape. I did put Teflon pads underneath in case I did, but I haven't scraped yet. You can see the difference between the Carrera GT, which has about maybe 3.5, 4 inches of ground clearance. That has a lot. There's probably 5 inches of ground clearance for the SF90. So you don't need a lift. You save the extra weight. You're not fumbling around with a lift. This is the car to get if you're getting an SF90. Let's talk values. Yeah, you've heard all the news. They're going down in value. But a high-spec, good color SF90, Assetto, carbon wheels, no owner is going to sell that for under MSRP. I mean, these will definitely are going to hold at MSRP, if not 50 over. A non-Assetto, crummy color, you could probably get under MSRP, but you can't even compare the cars. That's the ballistic rocket. That's the one to get. And again, I think I've covered this before. Do not modify the motor, the exhaust, tune. Do not touch it. I've already had hybrid electronic issues without any modifications. And had I modified it, it would take it out of warranty. It's already had 2 warranties on the hybrid system. They had to do a hard reset, but Ferrari LA is amazing. Ken is the best technician I know, and he got the car all sorted, but he had to do a hard reset. He spent a lot of time with it. Once you get a code in there, they like to stay in there as permanent codes, but Ferrari of LA knows how to sort it out. There's been a lot of issues with the 296 in that regard as well. Again, do not modify them. You'll put an exhaust in, it creates extra heat. You have hybrid wires, and it is going to be a nightmare for you. So it's plenty fast. Yes, it doesn't sound, like a screamer. It's more of a subdued experience, but it's a rocket, so you have to enjoy it for that. Now, the P1, let's talk about speed, specs. So the top speed of the P1 is 217 miles an hour, but guess what? That's just because it's limited to 217. Without the limiter, it has a theoretical top speed of 400 kilometers, which is 249 miles an hour. This thing is Bugatti Chiron SS top speed if you put higher speed tires. The reason for the limiter is because the tires that come factory on the P1 are meant for racing around a track, not going 250 miles an hour. And when you have softer compound and lower tire pressures, it would be a death sentence to go 250. But you replace the tires with a harder compound, higher speed rated tire, you can remove that speed limiter, this thing will go 250, which is even faster than the F1. And while we're talking about that, believe it or not, this car is significantly faster than a McLaren F1. The F1 to 186 miles an hour is 5.5 seconds slower than this car, which is an eternity. This car goes 0 to 186 or 300 kilometers in 16.8 seconds, which is 5.5 seconds faster than the F1. This, by the way, to 186 is very fast and even eclipses the P1 at they claim 16.2 seconds, which makes this extremely fast. That's why this car is faster than the LaFerrari by a good margin. But again, this one has a higher top speed from the factory, 217, 211. 0 to 60, this is a 2-second car. They quote this at 2.8, but that's factory quoting, which is faster. Also, there's been some YouTube testing between this and the 296 CarWow, which I love Matt and his CarWow. It's just he always puts Gianni in the faster car, and he's the slower driver. And a 296 edged out one of these, which is just not theoretical. From the specs from Ferrari, this is a much faster car, much more power to weight ratio. In the quarter mile, This runs between 9.3 and 9.5. The best we've seen from Amelia was a 9.9, and that's really what Ferrari quotes as the top speed for a 296, which is great. I mean, it's amazing. But this is a good half second quicker than a 296, and especially if you have carbon wheels, Assetto, the lightweight, this is going to walk all over a 296. But for a 6-cylinder hybrid, hey, can't take much away from it. But now, while we're in the subject of a 296, the gentleman that at Ferrari at the time that had a big influence on that car was Michael Leiters. And believe it or not, he left Ferrari and now is the CEO of McLaren, which is a great thing. There's the talk that he's going to improve the sound of the McLaren motors. He's going to put some Ferrari influence in McLaren. Interior quality is something Ferrari does very well. It'll be a good blend, because if you blend Ferrari good qualities with McLaren good qualities, it's a win-win situation. So I think it's going to really help the brand. Really excited to see what Michael Leiters does with McLaren. And now let's talk about the experience to buy a Ferrari versus a McLaren. So prior to the 765 LT, I only had purchased one McLaren. It was a 675 LT, which I bought new through a dealer, and loved the car. It was a great car. But when the 765 LT came out, I knew that I had to get it. I just love it. That car is phenomenal. And so I ordered one from McLaren, and they rolled out the red carpet. They were so good. That's an MSO, and they built it for me on a Zoom conference, and it was just a great experience. That one's candy apple red, and they recommended that. I think it's the only one in that color. I loved volcano red, but they said, look, there's a lot of volcano reds out there, but this will get you a candy apple red, and you should be the only one. McLaren, just rolled out the red carpet. We built that car to spec, and believe it or not, after ordering the car, within a year, I had the car delivered and was thrilled and loved the car. There were no games. There was no long waiting period. They took my order and they started on it immediately and built it in what I consider pretty much record time from ordering cars and receiving them. Ferrari, on the other hand, I had deposits with a dealer, one for the SF90 coupe for 2 years, and I never got a production, not even a production number or a build, and they kept telling me, oh yeah, you're in line. And then I went ahead and did an order for a Spider, and after 2 years, again, nothing. And this car I had to buy from a friend of mine who owns a Ferrari dealership, and he had to pay over. He, as a Ferrari dealer, had to source this and pay over. And, because he's a friend of mine, he gave it to me at his cost, which was over. Think about that. A Ferrari dealer that can't even get these cars. I mean, it's just absurd. I am, just can't say enough bad things about the Ferrari buying experience. Can't say enough good things about McLaren. Porsche, I can't say enough good things about. Yes, I'm a member of the VIP 918 program. I order my car, I get my car, there's no games. You can't even forget ordering a car from Ferrari. You have to buy these secondhand and pay over. Is that right? I don't think so. When they announced this car, they said, oh, everyone is going to have access to this car. This is our non-limited edition car, and everyone can get one, and you'll all pay sticker. Hogwash. That never happened. And so I don't know what Ferrari's thinking. I guess they sell so many cars, They don't care about you. But you know what? As a consumer, if they don't care about me as a consumer, then I stop consuming their product. That's all there is to it. I mean, every car in here I bought secondhand, the 355, the 458 Speciale, all my Ferraris. I did order a 488 Spider through a dealer. It took forever. I mean, I think I waited 2.5 years for that car. Got the car, and I was disappointed. It was slow. The McLarens walked all over it. I mean, well, you couldn't even race a McLaren without being completely embarrassed. And I sold it. And this, yes, I love to go fast. This is a fast car. It is a really great car. But again, if the buying experience is so bad, that's something to be said. And let's go back to the P1 and some of the things that make this car great. Race mode. You press race mode, this car drops down to the ground and the wing raises up like a foot. And it is just amazing. And you can drive it in race mode on the street as long as you're not going to go in and out of driveways. So what you do, going on a highway trip, you just pull over to the side of the road, throw it down into race mode, and drive. And normal, undulations in the road and dips, you're fine. Just don't go in and out of driveways. You pull over, you lower it back to normal mode, and you're good to go. And this car in normal mode, as you can see, has good ground clearance. You can lift it. There's been a lot of criticism about the lift on McLarens because they take so long. But the reason they take so long is because it lifts the entire car up. These are hydraulic suspension systems that are interconnected, all four. You can't just lift the front. The whole car lifts up, and that takes time. The 765, you just press a button on the stock, boom, it lifts, no problem. And I've had no problem with the P1 either. You just lift the stock up and lift it up a second time, and up it goes. And it's worth the wait, just the driving experience and just the carbon on this car. It's everywhere. The whole dash, the whole cockpit, and you've got gloss carbon everywhere. This one was spec'd with gloss carbon everywhere and smooth leather, which I really like. I like the interior. The stereo's good. It's super fast and exciting. You feel like you're driving a fighter jet. So that pretty much sums it up. This car has carbon HRE wheels, which are just spectacular looking, and they're much lighter. You get that light steering feel. And this has carbon wheels, which this car feels like it weighs 3,000 pounds instead of 3,800 with the carbon wheels. And I can't say enough good things about the carbon wheels on both of these cars. But as I've indicated in prior videos, you always want to keep the stock equipment. I have the stock wheels with this car, but these look so good to me. They look better. They ride nice. I haven't had any issues with them. Super happy with them. And but keep the stock. Never change the exhaust on this car. Never tune it. It's so perfect the way it is. And again, it's a hybrid, which you can't mess with the hybrids. And I want to kind of leave off on one subject because it has to do with the future of our super and hypercars and how everything is to be all electric by 2035. And Porsche currently is working on a fuel that will circumvent that from happening. And I can pretty much bet and guarantee that they'll come up, whether it's a hydrogen-based or it's just a carbon clean fuel. And that's really what we need. Electric cars, I believe, have a purpose for commuting, but something no one considers with electric cars is that there's a potential big danger just owning them. And I'll tell you what it is. Batteries can catch on fire. And you can't take a fire extinguisher and put it out. You can't take water and put it out because the lithium batteries, they emit a gas. They keep it going. It's like the birthday candle you get that's the joke birthday candle that you go to blow out on your birthday that keeps relighting. And these batteries, if these batteries catch on fire in your garage, c'est la vie to your house, it's gone. And that's been happening. Cars have been catching on fire. Everyone keeps them hush hush. But when they go on fire, they're next to impossible to put out. They burn forever. And then what are we going to do with all these batteries after their 10-year life cycle? Where are they going to go? In the ground. They're toxic. They're fire hazards. And another thing, there isn't a charging infrastructure for all electric cars. You'll be waiting in line at a charging station for 5 hours and then spend another 40 minutes charging your car. I don't believe all electric is the answer. It has to be a combination of petrol and electric to keep the numbers down and sort of a happy medium. But I think it's all the governmental and bureaucracy involved, and they're forcing these manufacturers to go this way, which, you know, I feel sorry for the manufacturers, number one. Number two, because they're forced by bureaucracy to do this. But, you know, the electricity to charge these cars is not carbon safe. I mean, it's trading one bad for another bad. And the better answer is a more efficient fuel. And come on, guys, we've got the scientists. Porsche's working on it. I have confidence in Porsche. They will come through. And that's really what we need. To be honest, all electric supercars do nothing for me. They have no soul. I don't care if it's the fastest. I don't care if it's a Rimac and it'll beat my cars. I want to hear the engine. I want gears to shift. I want to hear that sound. I want to be involved with the car. And that's another reason why I love manual transmissions, to that engagement. It may not be as fast as a PDK, like the Sport Classic or the Touring over there that are both manuals, but I enjoy driving those more than a faster PDK. And that's all there is to it. You have to have the soul. You have to, that's what the love of cars are. I mean, a Miura here with that manual, with that, I'm always going to get gas. I don't care if we turn into the days of Mad Max where you have to pirate gas, because I'll be Mad Max and I will get my gas. Trust me. I'll have my own gas stations, okay? Because nothing's going to stop me from driving petrol, government or anything. So they'd have to put me behind bars before I stopped driving a gas-powered car. And but I don't believe it's going to happen. I believe after so many of these cars catching on fires and all the danger with them, things are going to change. You watch. And what they're going to do with the batteries, come on. You can't recycle those batteries. It's just going to be a big warehouse of toxic, you know, it will be like Grenoble, okay? So just bear that in mind. Hey, I do have a Tesla that I go back and forth to work because it's a long distance, but, you know, that ain't my supercar, and I don't drive that car to have fun going fast in an electric car. These are the cars that my passion is about, that I have fun with. And you know, I saw that Robert Downey Jr. started this company where he's converting like old muscle cars into electric cars. That's blasphemy. I mean, like a Jaguar and a 65 Corvette with a or 66, whatever his is. I mean, I've got those, but they all have gas engines, and they're fast. This one's fast, 600 horsepower. I love it. But I'm not going in an electric Corvette ever. I mean, the whole point of it is to hear that V8, that rumble, shift those gears. That's the enjoyment. I would never have enjoyment about driving a Jaguar E-Type with an electric motor. That's just terrible. But with that being said, now I think everyone knows my position on electric. Even the hybrids scare me a little bit because those batteries catch on fire. These cars are going up in flames. So anyway, I'll leave you all on that. And anyway, let's go drive.